How would you like to make a boxer type character?
Sounds like, Ted, you want to do another CBG character build guide for 5e D&D. Let's make the Extreme Brawler.
I'm Nerdarchy Ted.
I'm Nerdarchy Dave. Welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds.
Now let's not let this warrior box you in.
So in the past, we've done some grappling characters, some brawler characters, but we have new options out that weren't available to us before. So we're like, why not do a different take on it? As always, we put out these character build guides, and it's not the end all, the be all. There are always multiple ways you can build it. We just are presenting one way. So you might think of a different, or maybe one that you consider to be better or more fun. Which we're always welcome to hear about. But this is just going to be like our version, which you're going to be able to see the character sheet and check it out, as well as follow along on the character build guide, which you can get over at the DM's Guild for pay what you want. The character sheet is a D&D Beyond character sheet, so it's only fair that we mention they are one of our sponsors. You can find those links down in the description below.
All right, so if we're going to make, an ultimate brawler, we should really be looking at races that we feel kind of fit that realm mechanically and thematically. So we're looking at half-orc, we're looking at human, we're looking at Goliath, and strangely enough, we're looking at turtle.
Yeah, I thought the turtle might be a cool boxer, and they're the ultimate armored guy. Class options, we've got barbarian, bard, and fighter.
We're also looking at monk, paladin, and rogue.
For our background options, we have athlete, gladiator, and marine.
We're also looking at sailor, soldier, and outlander.
We felt they were all kind of thematic and in and of themselves will be brawly type characters.
There's just so many things that are out there with these races, with these classes, with these backgrounds that all fit, a nice little package into, I could see these as scrappy. I could see these as people who are willing to throw a punch or, pretty much had to at one point in time or another.
Yeah, whether they're kind of sorely in nature or just do it for fun. All these options, whether we're talking race, class, or background, seem to kind of fit.
So if you like these videos and like to help Nerdarchy keep the lights on, as they say, why not head over to Patreon and check us out over there?
As a special thank you, you'll receive 5e content for players and DMs alike. We make races, magic items, drop-in encounters, maps from our own games over there, print and play magic item cards, and more, all over on Patreon.
All right, so for this one, you can probably already guess where we're going to go once you start seeing our stats. This is going to be a very physical character, so we have our starting stats. We went with a point buy, so we're going to have a 14 strength, a 13 dex, and a 15 constitution.
For our mentals, we're going to go with an intelligence of 8, wisdom of 13, and charisma of 9.
So we already know that, those charisma-based characters and our intelligence-based character classes, they are just off the table. So for our race, we're absolutely going to go with half-orc. We felt that was the most brawly of the races. And the most important thing that we're going to get there is that savage attack. We know that, when we hit, adding that extra damage on a crit is super nice.
Well, and also being able to go the distance, right? Relentless endurance. You go to knock them up, you knock them down, but they get right back up. It's super useful. And even the skill they get, intimidation from menacing, I feel like it fits the theme.
I would agree.
So for our background, we're going to go with gladiator. This person was either born in the brawl or they came up through fight pits, whatever, and they're a bit of a showman as well. I mean, as Ted said earlier on about making a boxer style character, and that's why we chose gladiator. We're going to get some things from that. We're going to get performance, we're going to get acrobatics, disguise kit, and drum. I don't know that any of those are going to be super useful as far as brawling. Acrobatics might be useful if you want to do some tricks.
When I looked at the options for different backgrounds, gladiator type combat is meant to not only be a skill of arms, but as a skill in performance as well. So perhaps, coming up against a number of opponents that constantly are disarming, this dude was without a weapon. So once they made the choice of, I'ma just punch a guy. And sure enough, it wound up becoming the favored thing for this guy to do. So I just thought that would be a fun style to do of all right, I'm going to just punch somebody. Or, maybe you come out there and I've got a weapon in my offhand and bam! You punch from the right. It's cool.
So with this one, we're going to start off with Monk for our character class, and probably for none of the reasons that you're thinking about.
So, we hashed the ideas out. There's a lot of things that we're looking at. So perhaps, this particular character, got some notice in the gladiatorial pits that they were pretty good at punching. So somebody brought them in to say, "Hey, would you like to actually know how to do this?"
And maybe it didn't work out. Maybe they have too much of a temperature. Maybe it didn't quite work out the way they liked it. They had too much of a temper. From being a monk, though, we're going to get access to athletics and insight. We feel like, obviously, this is a physical character. Athletics, insight can be super useful for reading your opponent. Also, if you want to mix in some grappling with your punching, athletics is going to be useful as well. We're also going to get a tool, so we're going to take Mason tools. Just because he probably had a life before, and maybe he was a stonemason.
Clearly the monastery didn't really work out. We were really looking to have martial arts so we could be able to make that offhand attack as a bonus action.
And get our modifier.
To that particular damage roll. Super helpful. But the path of the monk, the serene one with self, does not fit this particular half-orc. So they've moved on. They left their monastery with their satchel over their back, and they decided to seek another way. And in so doing, they went back to their gladiator roots and began training in that martial style and became a fighter. And from here, we're looking to take that unarmed fighting style. We'll get our second wind, we'll get access to some proficiencies. But really, we're just looking for that fighting style so that we can just begin punching and being a harder hitter than all those other little monks at that first level.
So technically, from a die 4, we'll go all the way up to a die 8 because we're only punching. We don't have weapons or shields in our hands, so we can skip the die 6 that you get from unarmed fighting and use the die 8. With our fists, we can punch as a bonus action. We're also going between Relentless Endurance and Second Wind. This character is going to have some staying power.
Indeed. Where do we go from here?
So third level means a third class. We're going to go Barbarian, and you know what? He could not quell his rage and anger. He could not meditate it away, so he decided to embrace it. So now when he rages, every time he rages, he's going to get advantage on athletics checks and strength saving throws. We're going to get that bonus rage damage, and we're also going to have resistance to damage. This is going to be super useful. We can give a beating. We can take a beating. If we decide to put someone in a headlock and just start wailing on them, they're probably not going to be able to beat us in an athletics check. So we're opening up some options with this character, but they're all kind of angry and brawly.
So we are going to have that problem of we can't use our offhand to attack as a bonus action and rage in the same round. So we are going to be slightly less on that angle. But you know what? We'll eventually make it up by getting extra attack, and by doing so, we're going to need to take some more levels in martial classes. So with that, we're actually going to take 4 more levels of fighter. This is going to get us access to not only that extra attack. We're going to get an ASI. We're going to get a subclass. So where are we going with those choices there, Dave?
So before we even get a subclass, we get Action Surge, which is great for any warrior-based character. We're going to take, with that subclass choice, we're going to go Battle Master, which is going to allow us to do some maneuvers, dirty tricks, if you will. And we're going to take Bait and Switch, Disarming Attack, and Grappling Strike, all of which are going to be super helpful. That Bait and Switch just gives us kind of more mobility and battlefield control because we can move ourselves and switch spots with our allies to get in there or get out of there, as the case may be.
Normally, I would be against Disarming Attack because, there is nothing in the mechanics that allow you to do anything interesting with it. Typically, warriors have weapons, shields in their hands, so dropping a weapon at their opponent's feet is not all that useful. But using our interaction with an object rule, since we literally have nothing in our hands, we could disarm the opponent and on our turn immediately reach down and take that item. We now have it, and they don't.
Well, or I would say as the GM, if you disarm them and you have nothing in your hands, you're now holding the weapon. And, you can do whatever you want with it. You can hold it and keep it, toss it. You probably don't want to get rid of it so you can do that die 8 damage and not have your die drop down to a die 6. Grappling Strike is awesome. Spend a maneuver, do the extra damage with the with the die, and then also you, as a bonus action, you can grapple them as well.
So for that ASI, we're going to put that into strength. This gets us up to an 18. We're not too far behind in the the threshold of things, but we're now hitting for a lot of damage.
All right, now we're going to bounce back to barbarian. We're only taking 3 levels. We want a couple things, but we get some other cool things along the way. We get reckless attack, so if we want advantage on our attacks, we can have it. We're going to get danger sense, which is super useful. We're also going to get to pick our subclass. Where are we going to go, Ted?
We're going to go with Totem Warrior. This is, pretty standard. This barbarian, we're looking to take that bear to get resistance to all kinds of damage just so that we can just keep on punching.
As long as you don't hurt our feelings. Psychic damage still hurts. We're a big guy, but we have feelings.
All right, so for our last level in barbarian, we're going to get an ASI. What are we getting there, Dave?
We are going to take the Crusher feat and take a +1 to strength.
From there, we're going to move into fighter, and we're going to get skill expert, which is also going to give us another +1 to strength, maxing that out to a massive 20. But what we're looking at for skill expert, we're going to take perception. It's not super needed, but we're looking for that expertise in athletics so that when we do grapple, when we try to do that ground and pound nonsense, we got it, and we're gonna lock them in.
So 2 more levels of fighter, which that first level is going to give us more maneuvers, is what we care about. We're going to take ambush so we can get a bonus to initiative or stealth. But I think we're looking more at that initiative than stealth, as well as sweeping attack. So like this guy's a brawler. He can do like those big haymakers and hit more than one person at a time. And then our next level in fighter is going to be an ASI, which we're just going to boost our constitution up.
I mean, we're looking to have as many hit points as possible, as much staying power with this brawler as possible.
It will also increase our armor class.
Indeed. From here, we got 7 more levels to play with, and we're going to take them all in Barbarian. It's going to give us a number of amazing abilities, and we're going to stick with Bear throughout to keep that that process going. We're going to get another ASI and be able to put that in the con, maxing out our Constitution, and that's also going to give us another bump to our armor class.
We're going to get fast movement, so we're going to get even faster so we can get in there and start punching things sooner. We're going to get feral instinct, which is going to give us advantage on initiative. So even if we don't have a super high bonus, we can boost it with our Battlemaster die, and we're also going to have advantage, which is super cool. We're going to get brutal critical, so now we're going to add even more dice of damage when we manage to crit. And finally, we get relentless rage.
It's a nice ability to kind of cap us out at 20th level, to just be able to keep that rage going, no matter. We think this is a fantastic character. All in all, the biggest problem this character has is, I know there's not a super huge amount of monsters out there that require magic to be hit, but this dude don't got it. You're not going to find, magic fists lying in a dungeon that you can replace yours with. But perhaps your DM is going to be generous and allow you to use magic gauntlets and still allow you to do that D8 damage. Who knows?
Yeah, magic gauntlets, hand wraps, something that will boost it up and give it to you. We can only hope. But all in all, I think it's a fun build, and this is a part of the video where we go, how do we use this guy as an NPC?
So this is the dude, so often do you find people who are starting fights in the tavern, or, you've got this, celebration and be like, oh, a fighting pit is there. And, this dude comes out of retirement. And you're not really expecting, the showboat. And this dude just totally houses on the party of like, yeah, I got this. Dude doesn't come out with weapons. Dude doesn't come out with armor. And he just wrecks some stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun, character to add, or even in the wilderness, he's a champ. You could change him up and use him as a champion to a monstrous humanoid race where, again, they don't use weapons. They just go crazy and wild using their fists, and they live to brawl. They could even be kind of like this happy-go-lucky, jovial character that just likes to fight a lot. Maybe they're less mean than we were portrayed the character we were talking about it earlier, and they just like to mix it up with people.
Normally we don't do this, but you want to take this on a hilarity level, do this as a halfling or a gnome. I think it could be utterly hysterical to have this, little, 2.5 foot, 3 foot tall, dude who just yep, I go for groin shots. That's why I do so much damage.
You could go that route. Or, you know, it could also be like the perfect NPC or opponent to add to the game that doesn't kill. Like, he likes to win and beat people up, but he doesn't kill them. He just knocks them out.
Right. You know, that and since it's all just total bruiser damage, that there's nothing to say that you couldn't have that he always does, you know, that, you know, non-lethal damage. And he's looking to share, you know, a pint or, you know, several after the fight's over.
Yeah, exactly. He might be that guy that buys you a beer afterwards because you did a good job, or he just wants to encourage you even if you didn't do a good job.
You know, with that low intelligence, that low charisma, you know, you could see he's probably got the results of you know, numerous fights upon their visage.
Mishealed, broken nose, and
you know, missing teeth,
cauliflower ears.
But you know, it could be definitely a lot of fun. He's not going to be your social character. He's wise enough, you know, better than average, but you know, definitely been hit in the head way too many times from both you know, personality and the intelligence.
The question is, have you played any brawler type characters in your game, totally given up on using weapons and wearing armor? How did it go? Share with the Nerdarchy community down below in the comments.
While you're down there, don't forget to do all those things that make YouTube and Nerdarchy happy. Like, share, subscribe. Even go ahead and click on that notification bell so you don't miss a single video.
Quick reminder, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, we have new videos on the channel. But hey, can't wait till then. Check out the card up here. Glorious Grung Grappler if you want another build that involves unarmed combat.
So until next time, stay nerdy.